I'll give you a brief rundown of all the information we've covered in our previous training. This is the minimal level of knowledge that bracers should have in order to function effectively. And Estelle, make sure you pay close attention to what I'm going to say. Yeah. Oh. Orbments are mechanical devices which operate by using what is known as orbital energy. I'm not going to voice act tutorials. A variety of effects can be produced depending on their structure and type of quartz or process septium installed. Although it's only been about 50 years since their invention, these devices play an integral role into all facets of life, from lights, heaters, and everyday products to weapons, magic, and even airships. In connection, this technological reform is commonly known as the Orbital Revolution. Bracers. Bracers are investigative and combat specialists who work to protect civilians and maintain the stability of their respective regions. They aid the community in various ways, such as exterminating monsters, preventing crime, finding lost items, and escorting people and goods. The Bracer Guild, which has established branches across the continent, manages the affair of the bracers in each region. Liberal Kingdom. The Kingdom of Liberal, in which we live, sits on the western half of the Zemmoran continent, and abounds with nature and deep-rooted traditions. Liberal is proud to be one of the leading producers of septium on the continent, known for its high level of technology used to develop orbments. Orbment technology has been a key pillar of support for Liberal in protecting its independence as it's contended with neighboring actions. 10 years ago, when Liberal was invaded by the Erebonian Empire, it was the use of orbital-powered airships that saved the kingdom from defeat. Consequently, even now, our relationship with the Empire is somewhat sensitive, but that's thanks to the Queen's political finesse. The Liberal enjoys peace. God, I'm terrible. Let's see. We've got a mountain of stuff to do today. I'll let you off the hook this time with a condensed review. I'm going to speed things up and move on to the practical portion of your training. Shara? How is today's practical training any different from what we've done before? Since it's practical, that means you will be experiencing things firsthand. Therefore, I'm going to have the both of you run through everything as if this were a real bracer job. So, what you're saying is, there won't be any studying at the desk involved? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. This time, you'll have to go out and make a physical effort to accomplish your task. I'll make sure to have you work up a sweat, so I hope you're ready. Yes, that's seriously just what the doctor ordered. I don't know what it was going to do if I had to sit another day with my tush parked at my desk. I guess I got all worried for nothing. Well, you're certainly all bright and cheerful, Estelle. Let's just hope that smile on your face lasts until the end of today's training. Okay, let's get cracking on your first objective, shall we? Yes, let's have it. Your first objective will be to confirm the details of the job you will be performing. But before that, there's something that we need to give the both of you. Ina, are you ready? I forgot the voice I did for this lady. I really only have one girl voice, though. Yes, here they are. Alright, you two, go get one for each of yourselves. These are very important, so make sure not to lose them. Bracer notebook. Bracer notebooks serve as the official way to record the status of your current jobs. Also, anything you may hear or anything you may find and where, these kinds of trivial things can often become clues. No matter how insignificant something may seem, always write it down. Understood. This sounds like it's gonna be a pain. Oh? Please tell me, or was it... Was it my ears playing tricks on me? Because I swore I only got one response. I'm sure there were two. Keeping an accurate amount of events is an important duty for all bracers. So get with the program and stop trying to make this out to be more than it really is, Estelle. Okay, I got it. Make sure you do. Alright then, let's begin. Look, over by the door, you can see there's a bulletin board standing there. My voice has changed 3 times because this YouTuber who's doing this sucks. First, I want you to go and check the job description posted there. Where the bulletin board is approached, an I mark, or exclamation point will appear. Pressing the OK button will display the job list. By selecting the job names on the list, you can view their details. Okay then. Training retrieval. New. 500 Mira direct request that this training will involve researching the sewers beneath Roland and bringing back the contents of a chest. Okay. Details of the job confirmed on the bulletin board and other important events will automatically be recorded in the Bracer Notebook. The Bracer Notebook can be easily found by clicking on the Books tab in the Items menu. It can also be accessed by configuring a Bracer Book shortcut button on the Configuration menu. Very good. It looks as if you were able to see that was posted without any trouble. Checking the bulletin board is one of the most basic functions the Bracer performs on the job. Checking regularly to see whether or not there are any urgent tasks which need immediate attention is also an important duty for Bracers. Man, all this talk about duty is really starting to cramp my style. Sure, there are a lot of rules to follow, but there's an equal level of responsibility in the jobs themselves. I think a Bracer calls for much more than someone with a half-hearted attitude. I guess you're right. I'll just have to be more motivated. There's a typo! What? Is that so? I had a change of heart, have you? You betcha! Well, before all that motivation sneaks off somewhere, let's get you two to work on your next task. What will we be doing this time? We'll be heading across the street to Mr. Melder's Orbital Factory and learning about how to use its services. He has graciously taken out time of his work schedule to explain things, so make sure to be on your best behavior. Oh, okay. Here's where you'll learn how to use Orbital Factory services. At an Orbital Factory, you can modify your orbments and synthesize support quartz in order to use Orbital Arts. Arts can have a wide range of effects if mastered, can be extremely helpful. The Bracer business is a pretty risky occupation, so the Guild has a long-standing relationship with these Orbital Factories. Anyway, this is about as much as I can explain. I'll leave the technical details to the expert. So, Mr. Melders, if you wouldn't mind taking over from here. No problem. Leave everything to me. So, what is it you'd like to know about? Orbments are mechanical devices which exhibit an array of effects through the installation of various types of quartz. By definition, that means lights, airships, engines, and so on are also types of orbments. However, the ones we will be discussing today are battle orbments, which can enhance the user's physical abilities and make it possible to use magic. Since each orbment is adjusted to match the owner's personal aptitude, the structures for these devices will differ from each owner. Simply put, the shape of the fixed elemental slots and lines which connect them vary. At any rate, that's the layman's explanation. In order to install quartz, you must first have an open slot. By default, the central spot is for you. It is open, but the other slots must be opened at an Orbital Factory like this. It'll take a fair amount of Sepith too. EP, which is needed for magic, will also see a max increase according to the number of open slots. I recommend opening them as soon as possible. So, what do we know about Orbital Arts? Simply put, Orbital Arts are magic which can be discharged exclusively through the amount of battle ordnance. In other words, a number of... so much reading. A number of peculiar effects can be produced by using the orbital energy stored within these mechanical devices. Since Orbital Arts can be a mouthful, they are almost universally referred to as arts. Probably ought to have been called that from the get-go. These are several types of arts, but in order to use them, their corresponding quartz must first be synthesized at an Orbital Factory. Orbments are also set up so that once a particular quartz is installed into a slot, the owner will be able to use these arts. The type of arts can also use also changes depending on elemental value and the combination of installed quartz. Basically, if you want to use water arts, all you have to do is install quartz with a water elemental value. In reality, orbments are much more complex than I described, but that's the information that should suffice for now. What would you like to know? Quartz are circuits made from Sepith. Quartz have a vast number of effects and raise the owner's abilities, which simultaneously make it possible for them to use arts. However, you will not be able to harness any of these effects until quartz is installed into the slot. However, there are fixed slots in which only a certain type of elemental quartz can be installed. This being the case, when you synthesize a new quartz, be sure to check out your orbment and decide what you'll be installing ahead of time. So, what would you like to know about Sepith? Sepith are fragments of septium which are dropped by monsters. They are divided into 7 types: earth, water, fire, wind, grass, lawnmower, time, space, and mirage. Sepith can be exchanged for mirror almost anywhere, but at a normal factory it can be used to synthesize quartz and open orbment slots in which to install the synthesized quartz. So, that's it. It looks like Mr. Malder has answered all your questions. Is there anything? If there's nothing else, then you should both try and use the services here. For that, you're going to need some Sepith. Hey! With that amount, you should be able to synthesize a few quartz. Now, I want you to begin first making an element of quartz that will work with each of your particular orbments. In your case, Estelle, any element of quartz is okay. But if you're working for you, Joshua, it has to be a time element of quartz. Normally, at a shop, you would be able to exchange Sepith for mirror, but for this training, you will not be able to use this service. Upon approaching the counter, a talk mark will appear. Pressing the OK button will display a list of options. Select Modify or Train to use the Orbital Factory services. Oh, good work so far. If you need to use the Orbital Factory, give Freddy a holler over there. Freddy! Hi there. It looks like you two are doing well in your training. If you would like to modify your orbits, please select the Modify/Trade service. Okay. So we're going to slot for Estelle. So we have one already open, obviously the middle. And I can put anything in for her. Now I can open this. Insufficient Sepith. How much Sepith do I have? Oh, okay. Openable. All quartz. Insufficient Sepith. Okay, but if I take this one. Insufficient Sepith. I see Joshua. Time quartz only. Openable. See, I don't have the Sepith for it. Okay, so Joshua. Maybe this is where the characters become a bit more, separated from each other, because obviously Joshua, unlike Estelle can use all her stuff. Joshua has ones that can only use time. I'm gonna need a time one. I should really just synthesize all these, shouldn't I? So if I go to Estelle, and I slot... Oh, you know what? I probably don't do it in the screen, obviously. So should I talk to her? Alright, looks like you were able to synthesize one. Next, I want you to increase the arts you can use. Now, install quartz into your orbment so you can use both recovery and attack arts. Quartz means install in the orbment screen. Okay. Aha, here we go. So, this gives her different stuff she can use, which obviously coincides with each of the different elements. Obviously, defense one is an earth one. Could go with attack. Either attack or HP, I think. I think we'll go with attack. For Joshua, because he can only use a time quartz, we're going to grab the action one. Now, install the quartz into your orbments so you can both use recovery and attack arts. Look at your orbments and make sure that recovery and attack arts are divided between them. You can figure this out by looking at the arts and quartz shots in your bracer notebooks in order to figure out which quartz you need to install. If lacking the necessary quartz, you can synthesize them at the Orbital Factory. So I gotta make sure I have attack and recovery art. No! No! Oh, okay, so she's gonna need to use an HP one. So she's gonna have attack and recovery. Alright, looks like you've both got recovery and attack arts set up. If you balance your arts out between each of the other, look you've done, it should make dealing with arts much easier. Additionally, your bracer notebooks contain information about which quartz allow you to use which arts. If you'd like to use more powerful arts, check out the arts and quartz charts in your bracer notebooks and find something that works for you. Alright, our training here is almost finished. Last of all, I'm going to have one of you open a new slot in your orbments. The more slots you have available to you, the broader range of choices you'll have. Since EP, which is consumed by using arts, has a max value increased by opening its slots, it would be a great idea to open them all early. Now, I want you to use this sepith and open a slot for each of your orbits. Go ahead and decide which slot you're going to open. Aha! So, slot for Estelle. Aha, we've got 30. So she can... She did not give us any time. There we go. So, only for Estelle. Put something else in for her. Well, if I've got single recovery, 200 HP. God. This one agility. Yeah, actually, as opposed to the strength, go defense. So she's a tank right now. I see you've managed to open one of your omen slots, Estelle. Since your central slot is not limited to any particular element, you're free to install as many type of quartz as you want. Any. This concludes your training here at the Orbital Factory. Now it's time to move on to what you've both been waiting for, the qualification test. Pardon? Did you just say test? You can't honestly tell me you forgot about the test again, can you? Didn't I just remind you this morning? Now that you mention it, I vaguely remember some sort of talk along those lines at the breakfast table. Sometimes I fear for the future of the Bracer Guild. And humanity. Oh well, no sense in worrying about that now. Let's head over to the testing area. You mean like now? I don't know if I'm ready. How about less yapping and a little more walking? Aww. Mr. Felders, Freddy, thank you for all your help. Don't mention it, and good luck with that test of yours. We'll be rooting for you. I'm going to remember that you left me high and dry like this, Joshua! All your training has finally come down to this. Your qualification test will begin here. I expect to see you both use what you've learned up to this point. Understood. What's wrong, Estelle? Shara? Shara? What was that? Is that just what I imagined? That's probably just what I imagined what she would probably... She'd be like, Shara! I don't want to do it! What now? I was kind of wondering, but... Oh my god, is there not going to be a paper test or something? Did Cassius drop you on your head as a child or something? You just read what it said on the bulletin board not that long ago, no? Yeah, and? And I even made you jot down what you read in your Bracer notebooks, unless you forgot that too? I'm pretty sure the job listing mentioned searching and retrieving an item from the sewers. Ringing any bells yet? What a relief! Oh, divine Idios. I give thanks to thee for thy infinite grace in bestowing us with such wonderful gifts as sewers. So what you're really saying is that you thought it was a paper test? No wonder you were acting all crazy back at the Orbital Factory. I can already feel the nostalgia. All these horrible days stuck in the glass room are starting to feel like grand memories indeed. Grand memories indeed. I'm really starting to wonder if we'll be able to graduate at all. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why don't you have to go and say something like that when I'm trying to reminisce about positive things? Alright, that's enough jabbering, you two. This is supposed to be a test. So how about you both try and to at least look a little anxious? So, just so you know though, if you do happen to flunk the test, you don't even want to imagine the kind of homework y'all have in store for both of you. We'll be fine. Just tell us what you want us to do and let us loose. Well, if you're so confident, how about proving that you're not just blowing hot air with the results of your test? Anyway, as you both saw on the bulletin board, this test will be a search conducted in Roland sewers. If your objective is to retrieve the contents of a chest which has been placed somewhere within that area. The layout of the sewers is extremely simple, so you don't need to worry about getting lost either. However, There are real, living, breathing monsters down there. So if you get careless and let your guard down, you will be sorry. We'll be sorry. Hey, lady, stop yapping. Oh my god. Let me give you this before I forget. Tear Bomb. Monster Guide. What's this book for? It's called a Monster Guide, and it's used to record information about monsters and other opponents you meet. Whenever you figure out an enemy's attributes, you should make an immediate note of it in there. Sounds pretty straightforward to me. He who controls the flow of information controls the tide of battle. Right? That's exactly what I'm saying. You've got a good head on your shoulders, Joshua. That's some pretty useful advice. Thanks for the tip, Shara. We'll put it to good use. Alrighty then, let's get pumped and knock out this test. Don't forget though, this is an exam. We should make sure we treat it as such. Oh boy. Ah! There appears to be a recovery point set up over there. Let's use it if our HP and EP become low before engaging in any further battles. Orman exchange charging stations are recovery points set up in dangerous areas. As recovery points approach, an exclamation point will appear and two choices will be displayed by pressing the OK button. By selecting the rest option, all HP and EP will be restored. Sounds like a plan to me. Monsters at 12 o'clock. Be careful not to let them take advantage of you. Be careful not to let them take advantage of your blind side. Got it. Monsters cannot be seen from far away. They will become visible as you approach them. The conditions at the start of the battle will change depending on how a monster is engaged. Engaging from an enemy from behind is advantageous, while being attacked by an enemy from behind is disadvantageous. Two of them. Hint! Battle order bar indicates who attacks first. It starts from the top and moves down. Hint. Attack an enemy. You may also use it to move if you are using a mouse and click an empty location. The highlighted area indicates the distance the character can move. Selecting a target in the area will move the character to attack. When an enemy is out of range, the icon will appear on your cursor. Selecting an out-of-range target will move the character as close to it as possible, but no attack will be performed. So like this. Yeah! Nice. You cannot use arts, but we can attack. Nice. He's just gonna sit there. So, why aren't these guys doing anything? I don't want to just beat up on these guys. Cool music so far. That's what his voice sounds like. I can actually try and imitate that now. Oh, Sepith! Juicy Bone.